Out with Miranda, your information gateway.
You're listening to the sounds of the Jacksons on Ujima Radio 98 FM. That is, of course, Blame It on the Boogie. You like that one, Jill?
Oh, I love that one. I was dancing along.
Boogieing away. Of course, they are playing when?
They're playing this weekend. Yes.
Live at Glastonbury on the Westholt stage. They're headlining tomorrow night.
They are.
Yeah. How exciting is that? Hint, hint. If you're interested in the album that we're giving away, there was a little clue. There was a little clue.
There was a massive clue.
Yeah, so don't forget, we're going over live to the Glastonbury Festival later on in the show. We're going to go to the Westholt stage just as they kick off live. Fingers crossed we can get through and there is a signal, because of course once back in the day, trying to get a phone signal in Glastonbury was just impossible. Do you remember that? There was no way you'd get a phone signal. Now everybody's running around meeting people, texting people. Oh my gosh, the very first Glastonbury I went to, 30 years ago, in fact, I had a message from a friend today saying, do you remember it was 30 years ago we went to our first Glastonbury, and we had arranged to meet all our friends, our school friends, we were that young, and the only way we could arrange to meet up was going to the notice board up by Worthy Farm and leaving a note saying we are by hydrant fire number blah blah blah, and I'd completely forgotten. My friend said that's how he found us, that I had actually I don't even remember, I'd left him a note saying Miranda and everybody are here blah blah blah, and out of 80,000 people or whatever, he found us, and he was just like, I don't know what you would have done if you hadn't have left that note. So there you go, back in the day. Okay, so things have moved on slightly since pre-phones and the emergence of the internet, and goodness me, technology is just booming these days, which brings us on nicely and segues into our next feature, or our next interview I should say. Joining me now in the studio I have Helen Woodcock and Vicky. I don't know your surname. How rubbish am I? Vicky from what's the name of the company again?
Little Red Panda.
Little Red Panda. I would like to blame the heat, but I can't today. So there we go. So let's start again. We have Helen from KETL. Is that right?
That's right.
And Vicky from Little Red Panda. And they are representing a group called Women's Tech Hub in Bristol. So Helen and Vicky, thank you for joining me today. Helen, can we start by telling us about what Women's Tech Hub is, please?
Well, yes. Women's Tech Hub officially launched at the BrizTech Fair last year, 2016, in Bristol, and it's really Constance and Seri and Than, who run Women's Tech Hub, just decided that actually it's about time we did something. It's no point moaning on about the fact that there aren't as many women in the technology industry as there should be. So they've tried to think about practical ways they can help employers and the women themselves to kind of take advantage of the massive tech scene that we've got here in Bristol, and kind of benefit from the salaries that you get and the training and all of those good things that, by not having women in the tech industry, women are losing out on.
Why do you think there is a lack of women in the tech industry?
I think it's like $1 million question, isn't it? I think it's like most sort of, most issues like that are kind of cultural, societal. I think it probably does stem from, not many children or not many girls kind of feeling like there's a place for them once they leave school in some of the tech fields. So, it's not many girls that go on to do A-level physics, for example.
No, it's also about having role models, isn't it? Once upon a time there were no female radio presenters, so you just never thought of it as an option.
As an option,
did
exactly,
you? So and I guess that's what women's tech is all about, is making people realise that anyone can get involved
and feel comfortable. So, for example, if you would, as the own kind of female DJ, went to a DJ conference and you're the only one there, it kind of makes you feel a bit lonely, a bit isolated.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's kind of where we're at with Women's Tech Hub. So can't solve all of the problems, but there's some problems there's some issues that we can do something about. And Seri, one of the founders, is an engineer, so she's gone about it in a very kind of structured way and thought about some of the things that we can do to help network, peer mentor. So that peer support is really, really important, and making women feel confident. So tomorrow at the conference, I'm chairing the panel on recruitment. So the speakers that we have are going to be talking about how women can kind of present themselves in a better way, how the tech companies can make their job descriptions more inclusive, and generally make their companies seem more like the sorts of places that women want to work.
Great, okay. Also joining us in the studio, we have Vicky from Little Red Panda, which is such a cute name for a company. Well done. Vicky, give us a little bit of background and how come you got involved with women's tech?
Well, I moved to Bristol in February, and I found Constance's Girl Gamers meetup, and that was a really lovely group. It was a small meetup of female game developers in the Games Hub in Bristol, and they told me that I should come along to the Women's Tech Hub on Fridays. And it's I found it to be a really lovely meetup. It's nice to have somewhere to go and work with other women. Everyone's super lovely to each other, and very inclusive.
Yeah, that's great. Sorry. It's just we don't want you to sound like you're in a toilet. And if you go back here, we can't hear you. So
You're gonna eat
well
the
done.
microphone.
That's fine. You eat the microphone.
Okay.
Pretend it's an ice cream or your boyfriend/girlfriend. We roll. That's how we roll on the word here. Anyway, yes. Sorry. So yes, your involvement with women's tech. It's obviously something that's quite important to you. You're a gamer yourself, are you?
Yes, I am. We were talking about this beforehand. I'm not too big on all of the big AAA games, but I do love...
What's a AAA game?
Oh, the AAA games are kind of the things like Call of Duty and FIFA.
Would Minecraft fit into that?
No.
Okay, good. Why not?
Minecraft was made by one guy who had a job during the day and then programmed in the evenings.
Yeah. So what makes it the AAA then? It's by a massive corporation or something?
It's by a bigger company.
I see.
Yeah,
because Mojang originally owned Minecraft, and I say it because I just think Minecraft's incredible. You know, I just think the thought and that's gone behind it, and the popularity of it, and how kids can get involved and build and everything on that. I just think it's great.
It's crazy how much kids program in that as well. Like there are kids making mods. There I've seen people using it to teach things. Like I've seen people using it to teach chemistry and maths, which is kind of amazing.
Wow. That is incredible, isn't it? So, well, we're kind of going to get sidelined. Sorry. Minecraft, you set me off. And it's interesting to know what kind of platform you're working on, because I know you're making a game.
Yes.
What kind of game is that?
I'm making a 2D puzzle platformer game called Princess to the Rescue, which is a very cute, lovely 2D game. And it's about a kingdom that gets put under an evil curse, and so this little princess, who is you, and you get to customize what she looks like, so her hair and her skin and her clothes, will then go on a journey to travel through all these different worlds that are themed in different lands, kind of like how Mario is, where you've got a castle world and a volcano world, and solve little puzzles and defeat the wizard and save her people. Excellent.
Now that sounds really great. Do you worry that by making it specifically gender geared towards girls that you might lose half your audience, or does that not worry you?
It's something that I've had a lot of discussions with people about.
Yeah.
Because some people have kind of thought it's not great, but I've not.
I think it's brilliant, actually. I think it's about time. I really do. Well, look at all the games that are gender geared towards boys and men. Why on earth can't we have something like this?
I mean, I've kind of said on everything that it's for children. It's not for girls. Like
my son would have loved it because he loved dressing up. He's going to kill me now, isn't he? He loves, anything to do with girls. It's theatrical.
Yeah.
We could say that, and so he would love that.
Yeah, if boys want to dress up, be the princess,
then exactly.
That's awesome too.
Yeah, I don't see why not. So that game sounds great. Can I just...
Vicky was saying about her game, it's really popular because it's very different, and it doesn't take much to be different because we're saturated by kind of products that perhaps focus on a particular part of male society, and that's the kind of thing that we're trying to address. So for a company, if you're struggling to recruit, generally, which tech skills are just massively difficult to recruit, as my company's found, why are you not encouraging women tech to come and apply for you. So that's what started my interest in Women's Tech Hub. The company I work for are a very inclusive employer, and we just found that women weren't applying for our jobs. So we wanted to find out why.
Yeah. One thing that caught my ear when you guys were talking off mic was how you were sort of, some advice you give to women is to be non-gender specific when you apply for jobs. Is that a wise move, do you think, to make sure that where anything you do, you're not being upfront about your gender, or are we then taking a step backwards?
I think we're taking a step backwards, because I think it's more important to try and encourage the companies to look at their recruitment processes and procedures,
right,
and make sure that they're actually addressing that.
Yeah.
Because actually, would you want to work in a company that kind of had an internal bias?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I would. So I think it's more important for the companies to address this properly. And there are loads of advice out there about proper recruitment practices, and we'll be covering a lot of that in the conference tomorrow.
So what kind of speakers and panels have you got going on tomorrow? We've got a few minutes left. Let's talk about the conference. It's taking place at the Watershed tomorrow.
It is.
Do you know what time it starts and finishes? Because I don't.
I think the conference starts at 9:30. The panel that I'm on is on recruitment, and that's going to start at 10:30, I believe. And then we have a panel on retention. So actually, that's a really big issue as well. So something like 45% of women leave the tech industry after only being in it for a year. So that kind of tells you a lot about how they've felt welcomed or unwelcomed in the industry. So for me, it's an industry-wide issue. And I think we were talking before about how the industry is so many different skills in it, from gamers like Vicky to kind of software developing to data that I work in. The technology industry covers every part of our lives.
Well, absolutely, to even what I'm doing here today,
yes,
driving
exactly.
a radio show.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or filming a show or whatever. Yeah, no, it is. It's a massive industry, and it definitely needs, the very fact that we're here in the 21st century discussing gender diversity and being inclusive, it just breaks my heart.
It is frustrating.
It is extremely
but
frustrating.
I think on that the work we're going to be doing tomorrow on resilience is also really important.
Good point.
Because, at the end of the day, we have, maybe sort of people who are slightly longer in the tooth like myself, who've kind of, seen some of the kind of the worst side of what goes on in the workplace in general. And I think that's really important as well, because so things like Vicky was explaining earlier before the break about how supportive she'd found coming to the meetups. Well, if you go to a meetup and it's all you're the only woman there, then that can be really intimidating. And so that's why Women's Tech Hub do things like supporting for speakers at conferences. We go along to conferences where we know there's going to be a high density of men, and we go together. Great. We have the reboot campaign. So if you are returning to work for any career break that you've had, and you want to get slightly updated with your skills, and you're not quite as confident as you used to be, then companies can sort of do like a returnship, I think.
That sounds great. The Women's Tech Hub in Bristol seems like a really great way to support women of all ages, whether they're going into work for the first time or returning to work. So that's great. Tickets for the conference are £20. That's for the whole day, and there I believe there's like a crash or free activities for kids as well.
So there's a crash for the little ones, and then there's Code Club for the slightly older children. So you can get your children learning while you're listening.
No, that sounds great. Well, brilliant. Thank you very much for coming in. Vicky, good luck with the game.
Thank you very
much. Will you
much.
Please let me know when it's ready so that my son and I can play it? I'm already dying to play it. It sounds absolutely amazing.
I'll definitely send you a copy.
Yeah, we'll come in on the show when it's ready. And we can chat about it. That would be great. Good luck with everything, Helen. Thank you so much for explaining everything really sort of so coherently. And good luck with the festival tomorrow. And say hi to Constance. I believe she's on jury service this week.
She is, bless her.
I had to do it when I was 18, and it still has been the hardest job I've ever had to do. Yeah, it's horrific. So my thoughts go out to her. Oh. Yeah, okay. Good luck with the event tomorrow. So diversity in tech, women in tech. It's a day of speakers and all sorts going on at the Watershed tomorrow. So make sure you get down there. Tickets are only £20 for the whole day, and that's including a crash. So thanks guys for coming in.
The Word with Miranda.